That's okay. I'll find a place.
The recording's already going. Oh.
I'd like to call the meeting to order and welcome any new residents or persons for whom this is the first time at this meeting. We usually, there are two things on the agenda that have been added. One I forgot was the election of officers, and we'll do that towards the end of the meeting. And the other is we're going to have some words from Linda Robbins, who is the president of the Cottage Council. But we'll start off with administration.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me? All right. Before I get into my, I'll go through those slides. I just want to give some remarks, a little COVID commentary, and address some questions that members of administration have received since the last time that we met. So on May 11th, the federal government ended the COVID-19 emergency declaration. So previously, under the federal government declarations, 100% of your COVID vaccines were paid for by the government. After May 11th, those vaccines will now be submitted to either Medicare or your private insurance for payment. And depending on the type of coverage you have, insured individuals, you may have some out-of-pocket expense. We are running a vaccine clinic next Thursday, a week from today. And for this and for future clinics, payment will depend on how Medicare and your insurance companies treat those vaccines. As we get more information, we will share that with you. A few other questions with the COVID hotline ending. If you have COVID, what do you need to do and what do you need to report to Moravian Village? I don't know about you, but I'm very happy that the COVID hotline has ended. If you have COVID, you no longer have to report that to us. We do recommend that you consult with your physician and they'll determine what your best course of action should be. If you test positive, you do still need to isolate, follow those same rules, 5 days isolation, 5 days with a mask in public. And at the end of those 10 days, if you have no fever, no symptoms, you are free to go back to your normal life. I'm still concerned about COVID. If you are, say you want your housekeeping, your maintenance worker to wear masks when they come in your home, please put your work orders in that indicate you'd like your worker to wear a mask. And when your housekeeper comes, make those requests known at the time of your cleaning. Any questions about that, concerns about that? All right, next thing I want to talk about is the soiree. Share some of the positive feedback we got and things that we want to work on for next year. On the very positive side, we had approximately 250 confirmed attendees at our event. So if it looked very crowded, it was. It's one of our highest attended events ever. Last year, when we had the event, we had two separate kind of waves of individuals. People came early and left, people came later and stayed. That didn't happen this year, and we had about 200 people here for the entire time. So one of the big challenges we had with the number of RSVPs versus the number of guests is that we were about a 50+ variance. And so had we prepared for more, we probably would have had more chairs. We weren't expecting that many people. And it's a good thing that we had more guests. We'll plan differently next year. Very happy that the number of individuals exceeded what we anticipated. And so again, next year we'll plan differently. My ask to you in the community is those RSVPs matter. Please RSVP to large events like that so we can plan appropriately. Other questions and comments that I received and members of our team here is that the remarks were too long. And I think that is true. I think the presentation portion was about 53 minutes and that was too long. It's important to me to say thank you to residents who donate their time, treasure, and their talent to Moravian Village. And so next year, everybody but me is just gonna have to speak less. That's all I can say. We did start early. We had planned a 5:30 start time. I don't know. And folks started arriving around 4:30. That was another challenge for us because the atrium is a very public space, right? It's hard to cordon that off. And so not only did people arrive at 4:30, by 5 o'clock, we had a large number of folks come ahead of time. So trying to balance the need to secure the location till we're ready to invite guests, along with allowing people to come in and get settled early, was a challenge for us. We'll work on planning differently for that next year. And the other comment I got is that we ran out of hors d'oeuvres. So Chef Frank emphasized to me and to you that he never runs out of things at his events. And we really did not run out. After the event finished, we still had many hors d'oeuvres in the kitchen. I think it was due to the congestion of our space. Butler food never made it to all areas of the event. And so some people completely missed rounds, and then we started desserts a little early. And some individuals hadn't even gotten the first round of hors d'oeuvres. Suggestion that we got, a really good one, is that instead of butlering everything, we have some small stations where people can go at different spots to spread the attendance out a little bit. And we'll plan differently again for next year. Overall, though, I thought it was a fantastic event, and we are already planning for next year. And then the next topic I want to cover is the opening of the CEC. And Brad's going to give an update on where we are with that construction, the Community Event Center. He's going to show some nice photos for that. And of course, the big question is, when will it be opened? We're shooting for an August opening at this stage. We expect delivery to us, in other words, complete a project towards mid to the end of June, but we're going to need a month or so to work out our punch list items, to place furniture, make sure all the systems are running, and be prepared to move into that space. A few questions about the operations of that space in the future. A lot of these came up at floor talks and then conversations after that. Can we host private events in the CEC like we do in the private dining room? In other words, can I rent for a birthday party for my family, etc.? And the answer to that is no. And this restriction actually comes from the city of Bethlehem through its permitting office. The city views that site is for private use of this community. Because of the limited street parking along the road, the city felt that for us to open it for public use, we would have a whole different parking situation. So it is restricted on outsiders using this facility, outsiders being not community members. And so that it's accessible by residents and employees that can walk to the venue versus have to drive a car. So private events like birthday parties, gatherings where outside individuals will be primary attendees, they'll all be here at Point 26, whether it's the private dining room, the activity center, the atrium, whatever space would be appropriate for that gathering. Another question that came up kind of tongue in cheek is, are we going to go back to the Judy House model of the operations where that's open all day and it has its own permanent individual staff person? Answer to that is, again, no. Our life enrichment team's time is better spent conducting activities across the campus such that we do now. And we do envision having like drop-in hours where staff will be present, that it's not like a speaker or a presentation, but much like we have coffee social in the atrium out here, we would have socials in the CEC as well. Working through the logistics of that now with the team. And then the next question is, how do we look at this site and what programming will go in there? A lot of questions came, is everything going to move back over there when it opens? And so we look at this venue as a place that can accommodate some of the classes and certain events that the suites cannot accommodate. We also want some uniformity a bit in the offerings at the CEC and here. As example, instead of having 4 or 5 Zumba classes here, we might have 2 classes here and 2 classes there. There will also be some offerings that may only occur in the CEC or only at the suites. And this depends on which location lends itself best to doing the programming that we want to have. So the biggest question that kind of falls behind all of these that I want to answer is, will there be any community events exclusive to just suite or just cottage residents? And although there will be events that will lend themselves to be attended primarily by cottage residents, just some of the things we do at Esther's or North Patio or the upper deck, or events that lend themselves to suites, all of the events across the independent living community will be open and available to all independent living residents, regardless of venue. Which leads me to this comment, which I've heard frequently, which is that we are forcing the mixing of the communities. And this comment comes from both suite and cottage residents. Came up at floor talks, came up at follow-up conversations. So I want to clarify, I know I speak on behalf of administration. What we are doing, and I fully support this, is preventing exclusion in any events that we plan at this community. So everything is open to suite and cottage residents. And you're welcome to or not to attend whatever you have interest in. When we market our community to people, we represent a lifestyle and community that celebrates the unique differences of all our members. We market a campus that is accessible to everyone, including the CEC, Larry's Garden, Esther's Garden, North Patio, the atrium, all of it. And it's in all of our best interests to be what the market currently wants, and that is an all-encompassing and welcoming campus. High occupancy rates protect the investments of our current residents, and high demand allows us to turn over property in a rapid manner so that we can refund the investments to our residents and their families that are no longer here. Also, some current residents, some of them who are starting to think about moving from say cottage to apartment or suite, are concerned that they would lose their access to particular areas of the community that they've grown accustomed to because they're now considering moving here. This is a big concern for some, and I think has been a relief in the conversations that Dan and I have had, that they will still have full access to the community, even though they may live in a different area of the community. So I want to wrap up this portion of my remarks with a plug for Karen Rachel, the app that they do on their weekly series, On Deck with Karen Rachel, is just fantastic. It's a lot of fun. I think these ladies are doing a fabulous job. So I love the direction that they're taking things, and we're looking forward to, as we reopen the sites, with a little experimentation in our spaces. We want to try new things. We're very excited about opening our new venue, and I do believe the best here is yet to come for sure. So I'm going to just flip to here real quick. As you know, we did a big renaming, Point 26 Suites, and since we have done that and the marketing pieces that have gone along with that, Jennifer's received 40 new emails from the website since launch, and that's a big shift for us in how people reach out digitally versus phone. We have 6 suites reserved with move-ins from May to late spring. 5 of those are A models. And we had 2 marketing events scheduled for May. They've happened. Did open house tours and getting really, really positive feedback from the folks that we bring in. A lot of that comes from those of you that are greeting them and sharing your story about resident life here. Certainly that does the hard part of our job, which is to make people know that when they come here, they're welcome. That's probably, I was mystery shopped this weekend twice. 2 people came on the weekend to visit because they didn't want to see us. They wanted to see life when most of us aren't here. Just very positive feedback. Jennifer got calls from both of those visits after that happened. And that's from meeting you and seeing you, what your lifestyle here is like. I think that is it for my portion of today. I'm going to turn it over to Brad, unless you have questions or concerns for me right now.
Good morning. So I get to talk a little bit about the event center project and how renovations are going. My update here is from the 24th. So some of the items on here are a little bit dated. I'll go over some of that stuff as I go through it. City inspection was scheduled for the morning of May 24th. It was approved, and they have started closing up the walls. Electrical rough-ins and plumbing rough-ins are pretty much complete at this point. The HVAC system is installed. And of course, the site will continue to remain off limits until it's turned over to us in completion. Just some photos of the upper and lower level, the doors. We changed the sliding doors to French doors you see there. I just took a photo of the upper level just so you can kind of see the light coming through and the door change. Front door has been installed. So the front door was brought forward and a new door installed at this point. This is just a photo of the lift shaft. And if you can envision, I am standing in the basement looking up. So just basically a photo of the lower level opening and the upper level opening. The lift is installed at this point and complete. We are getting that ready for final inspection. So the lift now is in this space where I am standing. Just some of the furniture selections that we were kind of looking at, just for kind of fitness area. And I do want to preface that none of this is finalized, but just some of the things we're kind of looking at as far as from the fitness area. And so what's next? Interior drywall the week of May 29th. The drywall is actually in at this point and they are working on spackle. Stair installation, still working on that. The lift install, as I noted, that is done already. So we're working on final inspections for that lift. Interior finishes, cabinets, tile floors, and fixtures. The tile contractor is on site. They are working on the bath floors as we speak. And then things that we need to finalize yet is, of course, furniture and paint colors. For the most part, all of the fixtures and all that stuff is all pretty much done. Cabinets are on site, so as soon as we get the walls finished up, we'll get the cabinets set in place. And then start with flooring and other finishes, light fixtures, plumbing fixtures, things of that nature. So it's starting to come together pretty quickly here. progress as of now is looking pretty good. So any questions on the project so far or the center in general? Okay.
Good morning. Hoping you all saw the news in the morning call. We were on WFMZ. We were also on LehighValleyNews.com, which is an online news source, celebrating Nursing Home Week over in our healthcare center. So I don't know if Moravian Village has ever been on the front page, but we were a couple weeks ago. So they celebrated each day. It was Nurses Week, it was CNA Week, and Nursing Home Week. So each day over there, they did some really fun stuff, and they culminated it on a Friday with a petting zoo. So it was really fun, and we had a lot of news sources here. So shout out to everyone in our healthcare center. And then Life Enrichment, which you all know is Kara and Rachel. We did move our happy hours and coffees outside as best we can. So the first one on April 13th for the happy hour in Esther's Garden was a huge hit. 55 residents attended. And coffee and cornhole on Saturdays is getting really busy as well. So that's really fun. In May, we had a lot of speakers. We had our Welcome to the Village. We had a great plant swap down in the cottages, which a lot of our suite residents attended as well. We had a lot of visits from our schools. Dining did a really great whiskey tasting, and we had some really great entertainment as well. And as you all know, the Moravian Village Singers concert was a huge hit. And then this is just a little bit of our attendance. Our happy hours are averaging about 50. David Vollinger from the cottages, I think he might have set a record with attendance for his presentation. 80 folks attended that. And our Moravian Village Singers, about 90 residents attended that. It was really, really beautiful. On Deck with Kara and Rachel airs every day at 3 p.m. on Channel 100. I highly recommend, if you are not on the app, just kind of turn that on each day. You can also turn it on at any time of day. And if there's any alerts that we send out with changes, that will scroll on the bottom. And also the various flyers and bulletins of what is going on, and our dining menus and such will scroll on there. So if you have no access to anything except your television, you can turn on Channel 100 and get a lot of those updates. And they're going to be doing some really fun stuff, as Tracy mentioned. So stay tuned for, we'll be promoting some of the things that they're going to be doing for On Deck. And we are looking at getting some better equipment to do better videos, quality videos and photography and things like that. So they can edit the videos a little bit easier. And what a roaring night, as Tracy mentioned, it was just a phenomenal, phenomenal night. And shout out to the team for everything for that. And then in June, a big thing is the Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival is coming to do Midsummer's Night Dream. And that will be Tuesday, June 13th out in Esther's at 11 a.m. We do have a rain date for that. We also have a National Ice Cream Soda Day. And then some of our concerts, the Large Flower Heads, June 8th. And Ginger and the Schnapps. And then for communications, also in the news, the students from Freedom High School and Liberty High School, as you know, painted murals in the south and north garage elevator lobbies. And that made the news as well. So that was really exciting. The kids were really happy about that. We had a little pizza party for them when they were finished. They were excited about that. And we already talked about that. And our mobile app, happy to say that we've added 20 more residents in the last month. So the momentum is picking up. And on June 28th, you don't want to miss it. We are going to be promoting it. It's not just a boring thing where we're going to be showing a PowerPoint on how to use the app. We have some really fun interactive things that we're going to be doing during it. So you don't want to miss that. And stay tuned for some promotion for that. And we will also be getting families to join the app. Here's our top Facebook posts in the last 2 months. On the left is when we did our first happy hour in Esther's Garden. And then on the right, of course, is some of our photos from the gala. And I did want to say, I don't have it on here, but shout out to everyone who was involved in welcoming the students from Moravian Academy Middle School, the Joy Readers, where we go to Thomas Jefferson and read with the students, and then also Brockle Middle School, where we go and read, residents go and read to the 8th grade students. So thank you for that. We had pizza parties for them as well. And that's it for me. So I'll turn it over to Don. Thank you.
Please come up here. Linda is going to speak now. Come on up here.
Don asked me to come and talk to you about the Employee Appreciation Fund, but I have just a 2-minute thing I want to tell everybody. About 2 weeks ago, I was feeling ill and I had an appointment up here. Had to cancel it and say, look, I'm going to the emergency room, call you back. On my way, I met a maintenance person. And the maintenance person was also coming to my house to fix something. I said, sorry, I can't do it. I have to go to the emergency room. So what happened was the maintenance person turned around and came up and told them I was sick. Administration knew I was sick. And I spent 9 hours in the emergency room and sent home. When I got to my front door, Samira was there. What are your discharge instructions? What are you supposed to do? Did you have dinner? And can we do anything for you? And also administration contacted me pretty much hourly of that 9 hours. I'm just telling you this because we may complain in the cottages, they didn't fix this properly. They didn't mow my grass properly. I don't like my mulching. All the things we like to complain about. But the bottom line is this is why we moved here, to be taken care of when we're not feeling well and we're a little bit addled. So doesn't matter if my grass is mowed, they take really good care of us. Couldn't neglect to mention that. Okay, so the EAF fund. I certainly was not a part of this original, and Don was not either, but the Employee Appreciation Fund is a way to give a little something to the employees around Christmas time. Notices are sent out in October and donations are made. And then we take a formula, which we probably wouldn't even have, it wouldn't be for your good friend Ron Horvath. And there's a category of support employees, a category of healthcare employees, and another category of part-time or per diem people that could work as little as 1 day a year or once a month. The formula then is broken down by years. If you're here 15 years or more, 10 to 15, 5 to 10, full-time, and then same for part-time. and the amount of money collected is plugged into a spot, push enter, and it figures everything out. We don't have any individual thoughts on how much people get. It's time-consuming process because we have to take all the employees and figure out where they fit into this slot and then plug the number in. I don't know what else I can tell you about it. It kind of it's pretty time-consuming getting it there, but once you got the numbers, it goes right in and it's quick. Then we hand out the checks. Is there any questions about this process? What, hon?
She asked how much is in the fund.
Well, very little right now. I mean, we gave the checks out in October.
Gloria reports on that every time we meet. It's what she says in her treasurer's report. Wait for the microphone. Well, after the last meeting we had, I had two people from the back tell me they couldn't hear what people said. So please wait for the microphone.
Okay, thank you. As long as I've been here, they have asked for $1 a day from each person, each resident. And I think that's very fair because you get services all year long and for $1 a day. And it sounds like a lot when you actually get that, when you get to the time when you're supposed to give. $365 may sound like a lot of money. Maybe what we should do is put a little bit of money aside each month or something so that we can give that with joy rather than worry about whether we're going to give it all. So I would think that maybe people should realize that this is the service that we get from all these young people and all these people that take care of us all the time. And so it's very little for us to give back to them.
Any other questions? Okay, if there have any in the future, I'm glad to show you a little bit of a file, or if you want to know the history, which there's very little evidence of it. There was some years in the past, it was a separate, cottages gave some and apartments, but separately. The amounts were decided by administration a long time ago, but due to IRS regulations, they can't be involved at all. So any questions? Let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Let's move on now to the secretary's report. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of the last meeting? Hearing none, they stand approved as presented. And I want to thank Ron for an excellent job. He is doing an excellent job on, I don't know how he gets everything in there, but he does. Bob Bauer, first vice president, anything? No report. Nancy Young, second vice president.
Which report? On the taking things to the recycling center? I don't have any report on that, except that Bob Bauer will handle it in my absence, and the bid is down there for you to put your things that you don't drive perhaps, or don't want to go. Convenient place for you to put used clothing. And you can't hear me? Wow, now you can hear me. Okay, well, the bins are in the basement in the newly decorated vestibules. And I think on this side, it's outside because it simply looks a little better there. But don't hesitate to put things in it that you want to recycle, and Bob has agreed to do it in my absence. If you see the north side filling up, Bob doesn't use that to get his car. You might tell him about it so that he doesn't have to go out of his way to check it. Thank you. Oh, if you have any other suggestions as to where to take them, we take them to the Salvation Army pickup on the street over here, Pembroke Road. Thank you. and also to the place in Hellertown. We do not take them any longer to the Moravian Church because they stopped collecting it during COVID. If you have some place that you feel would be worthy of giving them what we have, why, let me know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Treasurer's report. Gloria.
In our treasury as of today, there's $6,645.47.
Could you tell us generally how much do we end up for distribution? At the end of the year, how much do we have to distribute normally?
To distribute, we generally have between 78 and $80,000 that we distribute to the employees. All of that money is not distributed because some folks have moved on or haven't cashed their check. So that's why we have this 6,000 so many dollars in the bank right now. It's what was left over from the distribution last December. Is there any other questions about that?
And thank you for your job that you do. Nancy, Art.
I am very pleased that some of you have mentioned how happy you are with the new artist whose work went up on Tuesday. She's a local woman and she will be giving a talk here some time later when they find a time in the schedule. I hope you will show up to listen to her. It will be available for sale. She didn't have the time to do it when she put the art up here, but most of it will be for sale. And I'm hoping for a rather reasonable place. She has a loft at the Banana Factory and her things are priced rather high when you see them down at the Apollo restaurant and so forth. So if you have, and after her work will be up until the end of September, and then the Palette Club will be the one scheduled for the next 3 months. But if you have anybody that you think would like their work displayed here, I'd love to have their names and we'll get in touch. I love variety, as you know, and I think we've had it lately. Do you have any questions about, if you want to purchase something, she will do, the artist will deal directly with you. And as you know, it's a great deal for them because we get no commission.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. I neglected to say that Gloria Tarby has decided not to run for re-election, but I think we owe her a debt of gratitude for all the years that she's done it. And a word of thanks to those of you who have participated with the schools. People have gone to Thomas Jefferson and Brockle to work with the children. I have done that. I thoroughly enjoy it. And if you, I really encourage more of you to do it. It's just a very rewarding experience. And Moravian Academy and Northeast Middle School have come here with activities. We have not had a lot of participation, and I would encourage more of you to do that. The chorus has ended for the year, and I think we owe a debt of gratitude to all those who have participated and done a great job. Likewise, the bell choir. Want to say something? Janet?
Okay, so we had our handbell ringers had a good month of May. We played an opening number for the Moravian Village's Roaring Tonight. I always want to call it the Roaring 20s. It was fun to be dressed up the way we thought, or we think the people in the 20s dressed, or at least the best we could. Our handbell rehearsal, the last one was this past Tuesday, and we kept working on some new music, but also rang a lot of the pieces we've rung this season. And believe it or not, we can still play them. The ringers are sounding terrific and everyone seems pleased to be part of this group. If you're interested in taking part, contact me or any of the ringers. There may be bells in your future. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your leadership, Janet. Stitch and chat, either Mary Ann or Gloria, anything? Evidently Mary Ann has.
Thank you. Stitch and Chat is open to anyone that does handwork. We meet on the second floor north. And today happens to be the second Thursday, so we will be meeting upstairs on the second floor north at 1:30 till 3. If you have any questions, you can contact Gloria or myself. Thank you.
Life Enrichment, Borland.
Okay, thank you, Don. Life Enrichment Committee. Some people still ask me, what is a Life Enrichment Committee? Best way that I answer it is life excitement. We provide and work on all the activities with our great management staff, who about a year ago, Jennifer Glosch took over really managing activities. Shortly after, 2 months later, she hired Kara Kitchen and Rachel Rhodes, who are the people that make sure it happened. The three of them have provided such input to our committee. It's been a pleasure in the committee to work on their ideas, the ideas of the committee, and also, as she's shown, Jennifer just showed you, they evaluate the activities, they evaluate the attendance and that. So we aren't spending time on the wrong activities. And we want to add activities. And as you know, you're familiar with this monthly calendar that comes out, which is more than any one person could do in 1 month. So you have to select. And my suggestion is when you get it in your mail slot, take a little time to go through it, kind of circle what you might like to do for the month, and then check it as you go day by day so that you can really choose, because it is amazing. And as they also did in the last page, those who use the app to reserve time and the ones that require it, if you don't use the app, you can go to the back page, go through the list of activities that you need to reserve and the dates, and mark down when you reserve it. So along with that, the other thing I'd like to say is not only evaluate attendance, but we'll continue to look for new ideas and new events. And you're welcome to go to, I would suggest the best place to go is to Jennifer or Kara or Rachel. And they will bring it to the committee, we'll discuss it and think if we like it, how we're going to fit it in. As you know, things have grown dramatically in the last year. And I would like you to all, again, to thank Jennifer, Rachel, and Kara for the tremendous job they've done. Thank you. We're also working. The other thing that's happened is we have, from the beginning, wanted to work as one team between the cottages and the apartments, suites, sorry. And we have, it started with some representatives from the cottages and some from the apartment. And then it has, I think, grown to where we're really trying to become and have become one committee that works on all the activities for both the cottages and here. And it has made it, I can't tell you the cooperation between the cottages and the apartments that we're getting. And as you've seen recently, I think the CEC time that they had, the cottages had to come over here. So many of the cottage residents have said to me, there's a lot of nice people over here. This is enjoyable. And I hope that we can continue to have activities together. So it's really been great, and we're moving forward as a community. And Tracy, I think we've probably accomplished your objective. Thank you.
You can actually be busier now than you were when you were working. There are so many things to do. On great courses, Bob gave me a report he wanted me to read. The current UNESCO tour of World Heritage Sites will end on June 29th. The next program, Archaeology and History of the Bible, will begin on July 6th. No RSVP is necessary, but there is seating for only 20 folks who arrive on time, 7 p.m. And we thank you for your handling that, Bob. Phyllis, welcoming new residents.
Good morning, everyone. Since I last reported, 10 new people have moved into the apartments. I have left messages for them to call me so we can set up appointments. Some of them have, some of them have not. I certainly would be appreciative if they'd let me know. I have lots of tips to give you, and it's a short visit, and it won't take up too much of your time. Well, that's about it. So thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.
Quick question, Phyllis, was that 10 new residents or 10 new apartments? Phil, 10 new residents, thank you.
Okay, I'm okay, Lillian. Nothing. She's right on the ball. I moved over this weekend from one to another, and she came up right away and said, you know, are you going to be in? Should I give your apartment okay to the person in charge? And I said, yes. I really appreciated that after that surgery. It made me feel very comfortable knowing that someone was going to check, and something didn't happen to me during the night. Spiritual life, Mark.
Again, we want to thank everyone who has attended the presentations sponsored by Spiritual Life. In June, we're going to do something different. It's a road trip. Yes, everybody's wanting a road trip, and we're going to be providing that. We're going to go to the Hindu temple out near the airport. Transportation will be by our bus for those who want to go that way, or you may certainly drive over yourself. One of the questions is that, well, the attire, no miniskirts. I'm sorry to say there are no miniskirts if you go to the temple. Their preference is not to wear shorts, and for men not to be in jeans, also not to have shoulders bare. I think we can meet those requirements. Now, how do you sign up? Good question. How do you do that? Well, the first way to go is using the app. We hope that some people will continue to be using the app, and even more and more will do so. If you go, great, I don't use the app. Well, we have an answer for you there. There's a telephone number with Life Enrichment. It'll be on the posters and in the communication in the booklet and so forth. You can call. If you go, okay, no app for me, I don't know about a phone call. We have two wonderful people Kara here, Rachel over there. If you see them, my guess is they can help you make that happen. The buses in particular is important. We have 18 spaces, so first come, first serve. But we're hoping that people really respond to a field trip, because if you do, the benefit will be is we'll plan more of those field trips in the future. As far as the summertime, we're going to be taking a little time off in July and August. There will be Bible study in and through June, along with Journeys in Faith with our chaplain. We have lots of things coming up next year. We're already having presentations for next year for Quakers, Episcopals, Methodists, Buddhists, Judaism, and one on hymnology. So we're looking forward to seeing all of you at those events. If there are other things or presentations you would like, please let anyone know on the Spiritual Life Committee, know about what you're interested in, and we'll make that happen. Thank you very much.
I just got the minutes of their last meeting of all the things they have in mind for doing. It's enormous. Thank you very much for all you're doing. Dining, Phyllis. Anything?
Would you please talk to any one of the committee if you have any concerns or compliments that you would like be discussed? But better still, there is a suggestion box right outside the dining room. And if you would write your complaint or concern or compliment, Mr. Irving checks the box regularly and reads and takes into consideration what's in there. So that would help us some. I know all of you do not know who we are on the committee. If you would like to find out who we are, just open up your book that you got at the Roaring Twenties thing and find dining, and all of our names are listed there. Thank you.
Speaking of that, if any of the resident would like to participate in any committee, you're more than welcome. You just have to speak up. Housekeeping, Ron.
Okay. Maintenance and housekeeping crews are doing a good job completing our work orders. Thank you, Emily. Brad, pass that on to Bert, please. Corner guards are being installed on the corners that get damaged the most. You've probably seen them around. Those corner guards are doing their job. They're working. Some of the tables and chairs in the dining rooms had loose arms. Jerry tightened them up. If you notice any that are loose, please let me or Jerry know. Some of the chairs in the dining room, the ones you're sitting in, if you look at the arms, you might see some scratches. Jerry found something that seems to work, and I heard from Tracy earlier today that Bert's going to try it out and see if he can get it to work too. Bill Fritz told me that deep cleaning of the suites will start in August or September when the cottages have been completed. And as Don said, we're always looking for new members. We added some new members last year. We could use a few more in the housekeeping committee. If you're interested, let us know, Jerry or me. And we meet again on Tuesday, June 13th. Any questions?
Another good job. They really keep this place looking neat. Anything from outdoor or indoor plants or litter control?
Okay, litter control, litter team, I should say. Litter pickup here is really just walking with the cause, is what I say it. And I'd like to just welcome two new members, Frank Claps. Frank has joined, and Cole Hamill has now joined the group. So thank you. We're continuing to keep it looking clean and loving every minute of it. Dawn, one thing I forgot to mention in the in the report for the life enrichment is that on June 29th, we are taking a bus to the Iron Pigs baseball game. The bus will leave here at 6. The game usually starts around 7. We kind of have our own upper deck private place. And it's very easy to take the bus to get something to eat if you'd like, enjoy the game, and we'll probably leave by the 7th inning. So don't think it'll be midnight or something. But if you're interested, you can sign up at the front desk. I think we have about 10 so far, and there's room for 10 more, total of 20. So please take advantage of it if you would. Thank you.
And sorry, just to add, just give either Rachel or I a call if you're looking to sign up. We're very limited on spots. So we're hoping that it fills up and can definitely look into another game in the future. But if you're not on the app, just give Rachel or I a call.
I'd like to report on the garden committee. We've been busy planting and watering the new flowers in the containers and then the perennials that are on the north patio. And we're also in the process of initiating an exciting new project for the coming year. And the committee is always in need of interested residents who have the desire and the knowledge of gardening. If you miss your garden after moving here, this is a chance to satisfy your longings. We also need folks that would like to help water the flowers when Mother Nature doesn't do her job. If you're interested in our activities, please see me and I will try to answer any questions you may have about our committee. Thank you.
Any questions? The new DU resale shop, Betsy Brommer has taken over. Anybody want to say anything about new DU? No. The Sweets newsletter. Anybody want, Anna?
Mary Lou and I would Mary Lou and I just want to let you know, well, you should have found your new newsletter in your mail slot yesterday. And I hope that you're going to be happy with our newsletter. We don't have much else to report at this point, except that we are already working on our next newsletter, which will come out later this fall. But maybe, hopefully, this newsletter will inspire you to share some of your stories or anything that you'd like to share with your fellow residents. So please let us know. It's very easy, and any of our committee members will be glad to help you. So just contact any of us. But we also, Mary Liz and I want to thank our publisher, John Velonis. He has done a fabulous job on all our newsletters, and he spends countless hours getting it together and putting into the shape that you see when you pick it up. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody.
It is a great addition to us. Okay, the election of officers. According to the bylaws, there are 2-year terms, but people are eligible for re-election indefinitely. That was put into the bylaws a long time ago. Marlon, you want to give a report of the nominating committee?
nominating committee has nominated, first of all, should I go ahead, Dawn? For first vice president is our current gentleman, Bob Bauer. Are there any other?
No, there can't be. No nominations from the floor according to the bylaws.
No more nominations. Okay. Therefore, go ahead.
Just go give the whole report.
Huh?
Give them all.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry about that, folks. Running for secretary is the gentleman who has filled the position for the last number of months, Ron Horvath. And running for treasurer, since our wonderful treasurer, since our current wonderful treasurer, Gloria, is now going to semi-retire, that is to help the next treasurer and all the help she needs. And I believe she's sitting back here, and that is Joanne Mackesy. Sorry, Joanne.
Want to stand up, Joanne? So you can see who you are.
Those are our nominees for the position, Mr. President.
Okay, the bylaws are a little unusual. You cannot you cannot make nominations of the floor. They have to be in writing to the nominating committee, and I put out a letter according to that. So the list is, there's none opposed, nobody opposed. So I will entertain a motion that those who have been nominated be elected. Okay. So moved. And a second. Oh, Marlon, okay. Okay. All those in favor of electing those who have been put forth by the nominating committee, please say aye. Opposed, no. Hearing none, they are elected. New business courtesy of the floor.
I'm sorry to be a little negative here, but before I retired, I was an operating room nurse and I had to get up at 5:30 a.m., eat my breakfast, get dressed, and drive to work and be ready to work at 7 a.m. However, now there are lawn mowing at 7:30 and 7:40 a.m. And it starts on the north side all the time. I was wondering if we could encourage the lawnmower to start at 8 a.m. or start on the south side. I don't care. It's fair. Or either alternate. Most municipalities start lawn mowing at 8 a.m. Ours, I know, is allowed to start at 7:30. Is that possible to encourage them to start later? I would really, really like to sleep a little later. Does anybody else mind this, or is it just me? Anybody else? Does this bother anybody? Nobody. I'm hard of hearing too, but I can hear that loud roar right outside my room. It doesn't bother anybody else.
I hear it, but I'm usually awake already. So,
I guess it's just me. Okay.
Tracy, want any comment? Okay. Okay,
My name is Frank Claps, and I want to introduce you to a new activity that we're introducing this month. 9 a.m., that's not too early for you. In the activity room, we're going to start Qigong, which is a very gentle form of martial arts. And I know you can all do it. Please show up. It's a demonstration to see if you're interested. 9 a.m., June 21st. It's a Wednesday in the Activity Center.
Frank, I'm not familiar with that term. Could you please spell it for me for the minutes?
Qigong, but it's pronounced Qigong.
Thank you. I never would have guessed.
someone here said, could it be 10 instead of 9?
All right, this is just a thank you for all of you who have been saving bags and collecting them. We are giving the bags at food banks at the rate of $50 a night, excuse me, 50 bags a night. We serve over 50 families every time we have a food bank. So thank you for your paper bags.
Speaking of that, some person, I can't remember who it was, mentioned about the green committee and so forth. And it was suggested, since we're working with the cottages, would it be okay if the person would be part of that? Okay, so whoever it was, if you want to speak to Linda about that. Other things, okay. Here.
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I just would like to ask if you would consider making the time at 7 p.m. for the activities, like the movies or the programs. Sometimes we do not get out of the restaurant till after 7 o'clock. So if you want to go, you have to either skip your dessert, which I don't mind, or go in late. And it's very disturbing to have to go to the atrium and walk in when there's not people there. So I'm just asking, could they consider making it 7:15? Then people would be, give them a little more time to get out of the dining room. Thank you.
That will be referred to Life Enrichment. Other items, anyone? Otherwise, our next meeting will be August 3rd. Otherwise, we stand adjourned.